Hello everyone. Welcome to this exclusive edition of M Square, and this is your host Anurag Manik. Today we have with us one of the most prominent personalities from the Indian TV industry and the Bollywood, someone who has been active for the past 2 decades and has been part of one of the most famous series which we all can recollect to, which is Shararat, Thoda, Jaadu, Thodi, Nazakat, and the season which spanned across 3 years from 2003 to 2006 and 192 episodes having a rating of 7.5 on IMDb, and as per Google 97% of people still like it, and it's part of I think Disney Hotstar. And thank you so much, ma'am. And you have been working across a lot of things, like the Sweet Life of Karan Kabir and comedy Nights Bachao and the comedy circus, and even in Bollywood, like movies like Rajniti, which really gave you a critical acclaim. So thank you so much. This is an absolute honor for us to have you with us for this discussion, which we're going to have on your journey, on your struggles, how you overcome them, and your recent pursuit of into emotional quotient, how we can improve it. So thank you so much, ma'am, for allowing us this opportunity to talk to you.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Yeah.
And firstly, I have to say that I'm just very, very grateful that the show has received so much love and it continues to receive the kind of love that it got way back,
Yes.
when we started. And of course, back then we didn't have social media.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice that it's still on Disney Hotstar, and we're kind of getting to enjoy the love even today, like it was,
Yeah.
2003. And I think all of us from the show can agree that we never sort of ended up making the same connections anywhere else
Yeah.
the way we did on Shararat. And of course, I've done a lot of work and I'm very grateful for all the opportunities that I've had. But the kind of love, positivity, and blessings that Shararat has, I don't think anyone has been that fortunate in terms of their legacy.
Yes.
So I can only say a big thank you to all our fans.
Yeah. So yes, ma'am, surely. I've been a huge fan, and I remember those certain episodes. Remember the exact episode where you first come to know that you are a pari, and that you have all this, and then you get caught in the mirror, and that episode, that
No, so
episode
the
where,
episode was episode 1, in which I actually end up converting Pam into a Bengal.
yes. Yeah. So
And
So it was very recent. So that's like 7 to 8 months back that I came to know that you and Pam are very good friends outside, and it was like my whole life has been a lie. So I used to relate that that rivalry and all. Where, I remember one episode where there was some singing competition, and she gives you something which chokes your voice, and all those
yes,
episodes, that it's still very much fresh in our episode in our minds,
thank you.
and that
Thank you.
really has been truly an amazing experience. I mean, to have that kind of a show back then, which I can still relate and which still talk about, even in for Fred Sucker, when we say what are your favorite shows and like from the Indian context, but it almost is the top one of the top three shows which you can say. I just wonder if that would have come today, it would have been. I mean, kids these days was if they come across Sharar, they will really know what they have been missing on in this scenario.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm very flattered and I'm very grateful. Thank you again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, ma'am. Just if you can, like tell us how was your journey, how when you got Shararat, how was your experience the first day, how nervous were you, and how did you overcome it? And if you can share some stories with us, some funny stories which happened.
Okay, so actually, Shararat took almost 2 years to finally get on the floor. Zarina Mehta, who was back then one of the heads of UTV, had called me just out of the blue and said, I want to remake this show, and I'm just convinced that you're going to be the primary character.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So I had just started acting very recently, and I was just, doing walk-in parts, and I'm a Bombay kid, so
Okay.
my Bombay children are extremely lazy when it comes to
Okay.
work, because you kind of have your whole life set up here. So, work is just one of the things that you do. And I remember her telling me that no, I'm convinced you're going to play this character, and I'm just figuring out the rest of the cast, and I want to get Farida Jalal to play the grandmother. As soon as I'm able to lock your dates, we're starting. And this conversation must have happened in maybe early 2001 or something, and then
Okay.
it took almost 2 years before we
Okay.
finally ended up shooting the pilot for Shararat. And I remember seeing our director Rajiv Mehra the first day when I walked
Okay.
on the set. And he's a very handsome man and he looks exactly like George Lucas. So I walked
Okay.
up to him and I was like, oh my God, you look like George Lucas. And he was like, whoa, that's a really heavy mantle. But he was just, I think, whatever you see of Shararat, honestly, besides the cast and our overall camaraderie, I think the entire onus of the show goes to the writing team.
Oh, yeah.
It was written by Mr. Ashwini Dheer, I remember, and there were, of course, a lot of writers because it took that many people to kind of put it together. But our primary episodes were written by Ashwini Dheer,
Okay.
and it was Zarina's vision. I really, the full credit of the show actually goes to her. And
Okay.
Rajiv Mehra was, of course, coming on the back of Zaban Sambhal Ke and
Yeah.
Office, and of course he had been there, done that, and this was just a new show that he kind of took up, and he
Okay.
had done Chamatkar, so he was,
Oh, okay.
he
Yeah.
came from the world of magic,
Yes.
and really the timing, the snappy part of the scenes, just all of that came from his direction because we used to shoot it in one go. We had a 3 camera setup,
Okay.
and it was shot like one scene in one shot. So we used to
Oh,
literally
okay.
run it from start to finish. It was like doing a play.
Yeah, yeah.
And here's the funny bit: when you're doing a show which is being cut online, when you're doing an online edit while you're there,
Okay.
it really helps if you can remember your lines. And
Okay.
luckily for me, I was very fortunate that I never had trouble sort of memorizing my scripts.
Yeah.
So even though I was very naughty and I always played the fool with everyone else, whether it was Manoj Bora, Harsh Vashisht,
Okay.
Aditi Shirvekar, or a simple call. The five of us was just, for us, it was a party. It was like, you
Yeah.
kind of met a bunch of friends and then you shot with them. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Farida ji was just, she was like this mother hen on set, always taking care of all of us. But
Okay.
we used to always do all the naughty stuff, and I would never get yelled at because I always remembered my lines.
Okay.
So the boys used to be like, but she put us up to it and she's also naughty. And the director would always be like, no, 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 no. She remembers her lines. So we don't
Okay.
want to say anything else. So I
Oh,
actually must have been the naughtiest person on that set,
okay.
but I was just safe because I always remembered my lines. So I
Oh,
think that is something I would tell any aspiring actor, that if you want to be an actor, of course, your talent is necessary,
yeah.
but you have one job, and that is to remember your
Remember the
lines.
lines. Okay. That.
So you will just see how your performance changes, the things that you can do to your craft, the way you can enhance the performance, the way you can change things around, so long as you know your lines backwards. Because if you're
Yeah.
struggling to remember your lines, it is going to impair your
Impact.
performance as an actor.
Yes.
So I think I was just lucky that I had that as a gift, I would say.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a cakewalk. We just had the best time shooting. And with Rajiv Mehra, the good thing was that he himself is a very chilled out director. So
Okay.
his thing was, I don't like to shoot beyond 6:37. So we would reach
Oh,
set
okay.
at 9 a.m., start rolling at 10, and by 6, 7 o'clock we used to pack up and be back home. And it was
Oh,
10 days a month, the best time of my life. And the other 10, 15 days I was a channel V VJ. So I was
okay.
just
Yeah.
really living. I was living the good life. I was
Yeah.
getting to do all the mad stuff with Channel V as a VJ, and then I was getting to do the crazy stuff as an actor on Shararat. So it was really, I think, it was. I could not have asked for a better combination.
Yeah.
And
And
luckily for me, right through acting and presenting kind of went hand in hand. So while there were presenters and then there were actors, I happened to luckily bring the two together, and I was
Okay.
acting and presenting,
That's
doing
great.
two jobs, and I managed to maintain a fair amount of variety with in my career.
Yeah, that like, even like when you say that you had fun, and I think that reflected when we saw it on screen, it just felt like a real chemistry. It was nothing forced. It was very much
Yeah.
natural. And I like when you say you were the naughtiest, I think that was in contrast to the character on screen. So
Oh my gosh, Gia is very naughty even on screen. She's always messing magic up. She's
but
such a
that
brat.
messy yeah, that messiness had an innocence
Yeah, yeah, she
attached to
just
it. So
no no
yeah.
yeah, she just plays the good girl, but she's very
Yeah.
naughty.
That was like that's really amazing. And so I just wanted to ask, like, when you came across the show, it was a very new concept, I would say, on a television. Obviously we have been seeing magic, but it was of a different kind. It was not the
Yeah.
kind of good magic which we saw, an innocence attached to it. And it was very sort of not in a bad sense. I mean, like, even if you see it in movies, it was like black magic and all, very negative. And how when you came across this script was very new, how was it for, like, how was the experience, and what all went in your mind when you saw the script?
Well, honestly, I had seen Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which I would say is
Okay.
the closest American cousin to the show, and I'm assuming that it was the inspiration. So it was, I think what was really nice about the show is that we managed to get a really good cast together.
Okay.
That was amazing. We had fantastic writers. And I think the fact that we never had to lean into it, we kept in mind that this was a show for kids. So
Yes.
whether it was Zarina or it was the team at Star Plus, they made sure that the script remained, you know, family friendly. There was
Yeah.
never anything that was awkward or inappropriate or stuff like that.
Yes.
And it's nice when you can have I'm all for all kinds of humor personally. I
Yeah.
think all kinds of humor is good, but yeah, when you are making a show for kids and for family viewership, then you have to be a little mindful about the kind of language you use, the kind of jokes that you make. So
Okay.
it was just nice to have good clean fun with Shararat.
Yes. Yeah, I can literally say, like, there are many shows which glues the people together. And I can remember when it used to, we will all sit and, okay, today is we are going to watch it. Also, it was a fixed time, so nobody watches.
Yes.
The parents won't watch the news. My moms will not watch the daily soaps. We are going to watch. It's our TV time, and you don't interfere in that. So I can say it related very much to us. And yeah, thank you so much for having such a great show in that past.